Hey my lovelies, it's Mitch here and I'm just coming on to do this Monday's guidance reading. We are in the Halloween season, we are on the Halloween week, very exciting. So what do I need to let you know about? Lots of stuff has been going on. It's been a crazy bit of a roller coaster time, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll talk a bit about that very soon. So, first of all, let's talk about the positive stuff. Always let's celebrate the positives first and give the gratitude. So, Brixham Theatre, if you came to support that night on Saturday, thank you so much. It was an absolutely beautiful show. Spirit were just on top form. And I'll be really honest, I've had a lot of weird stuff happening. And I said to Spirit, if I meant to still do this work, please make this a good night. And they didn't disappoint. It was a beautiful night. The evidence, Spirit were just like bang with the messages. There was a lot of evidence, but there was a lot of fun, there was a lot of laughter, as well as the validation. So thank you so much if you came to support that. I did that theatre last year and it was a beautiful show last year, but I think this year it was 100 times better. I just felt like the energy in general of the theatre had changed a little bit in a good way. So it was a really beautiful night. We did have some paranormal, of course, with the veil being quite thin. So we did the sound check and, my alarm clock randomly sort of went off when it wasn't set to any sort of time or anything. So that was pretty weird. And then when I actually did the show, I looked at the sort of clock after a couple of messages in, and the battery had completely died when it was completely fine before. So, and Spirit do like to manipulate time quite a lot, because obviously time doesn't exist in their realm and in their world. It's just a man-made thing that keeps law and order down here. Although I did appreciate the extra hour in bed on Sunday, I'm not going to lie, particularly as we were travelling back from Brixham. But thank you so much if you came to support that show. It was amazing. And yeah, fingers crossed the theatre have me back for next year's tour. So watch this space, and if that happens, I will obviously let you know a date, if, as and when. So perfect stuff. So with it being the Halloween week, obviously I thought we have to work with a particular deck. So I have dug out the Halloween Oracle. I love this deck and I don't get to use it very often. And it's by Stacey DeMarco. So I thought, obviously, with it being Halloween week, this is the deck we're going to work with today. So these are the cards. Let's give them a knock. Let's give them a cheeky little shuffle. Let's just see what the energies are and what we need to know about for this Monday and the coming week ahead. Channeling these cards for the highest of good. Let's just see what we need to know. Oops. Oh no, because one might just pop out. Oh, sorry, one's just literally popped itself. Interesting. Okay. Right, we have what's just literally jumped out of the deck. Oh, there was a few, but this one's landed on top, is Jack-o'-lantern. And it just says at the bottom here, protection. I'm saying nothing. Like so. Okay, on a serious note, what's interesting though, I'm going to tell you quickly, Jack-o'-lanterns were used and are used still in many traditions and many cultures to ward off negativity, to ward off the evil spirit, and to ward off anything underhanded. So get yourself a pumpkin this week, carve something out on it, whatever you want, and yeah, just use this in a way to, like it says, ward off anything unwanted, anything negative. Protection. I think this week it is about protecting ourselves in many different ways, and protection comes in many different vases and vises, and you will know what you need to do to protect yourself. For some people, it might be walking away from something. Hand up, I've had to do that. We'll talk about that afterwards. Protection can sometimes be, in other areas, in other ways. So how you need to protect yourself will be personal to you, and just have your wits about you this week. Last week we had the Ten of Swords, which was sort of shady shit energy, and I think that this is almost a bit of a continuation of that card, and obviously having to protect, having to shield yourself from various types of negativity or underhanded energy, or just things that don't complement you and your world and your life. So yeah, pretty interesting, pretty interesting. But I do think that this speaks volumes. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I've had a lot of people private messaging me. I've had a lot of people asking stuff, and let's just deal with this. So let's talk about the Never Cross a Witch Bitch podcast. So first of all, I wish both the girls nothing but love and warmth, and I just want them to shine in all that they turn their hand to. The podcast sadly has closed down. I made that decision to walk away from the podcast. It was nothing to do with the girls. I made the decision to walk away for a couple of reasons. Primarily time. It was quite hard for all of us to keep getting together and committing to time with all of our different work schedules. But the main thing, and this is really quite upsetting to talk about, I will be honest, but the main thing, me and Lucy unfortunately have had to terminate our friendship and part ways. I made a commitment a while ago that I would never be discredited, devalued, or put into any compromising positions with new friendships that forged. And I was very clear with Lucy at the beginning on, you know, what I wanted from a friendship, and its commitment, its consistency. Those are the only things, you know. And unfortunately, I was put into a position where I was accused of something that I 1000% had not done. And, you know, if I've acted like a dick, if I've done something wrong, if I've genuinely dropped the ball on something, hands up, I own it for what it is. But this did not happen. This accusation was around the recent seance night, and I've got like 9 witnesses. 9 witnesses are all saying the same thing. We can't all be wrong. So I didn't scream and shout. I didn't huff and puff. I just thought, you know, if you think that little of me, we can't continue a friendship, you know? And so I wish Lucy the absolute best within her life and with all she turns her hand to, but we've had to make a difficult but necessary decision to part ways, because I will not put my spirit and put myself through any unnecessary bullshit. I'm just at a stage in my life where I'm not prepared to do it. I know that there have been recent posts gone up on her business page sort of saying that, you know, if anyone sees anything slanderous or whatever, to contact her. And I just want to say with that, you know, I find that quite insulting, because regardless of our personal journey, and, you know, I'm not sort of divulging what happened, it's a private thing between me and Lucy, the crux of it. But essentially, I would never want to hurt or harm anybody. I would never go and slam someone's business down just because a friendship hasn't worked. And again, for me, it's validation of like, you clearly think that little of me. You know, I'm not one of these witches that gets out the cauldron and hexes and harms and hurts. Some do. Some witches would 100% hex her ass for that, you know. But with the title of Never Cross a Witch Bitch, I think that that title speaks volumes and almost becomes a statement. Never cross a witch, you know. So I've just tapped out. I've walked away. I'm not putting myself through it. But I would never hurt or harm a business, you know. And I'm actually of the mindset, you know, if you feel connected to Lucy for a reading or a counselling or a therapy session, absolutely 100% go and book on, you know. Just because our connection hasn't worked, it hasn't taken away any of her magic or any of her value. So yeah, I just feel that in itself, to me, speaks volumes. And so my protection has had to be to sort of terminate that kind of friendship and that kind of energy with each other. But I wish her nothing but love, nothing but the best. I'll always love her, but sometimes the people we love the most, we have to set free. And that's just literally what has had to happen here. You know, so if she's ever at any events or fairs, because there probably will be a time when our paths cross, I'm not going to sort of go up and punch her one or anything or give her a black eye. I'll be civil, you know. We probably won't do hugs and kisses anymore, but I'll be civil. And, you know, I just wish her nothing but the best. And I really hope she finds the peace and inner acceptance to just be her, you know. So that's that in a nutshell. And I don't want to keep talking about it or drailing it up, but so many people have been asking me. I wanted to give you guys a fair review on what's happened, but without going into too much detail. But, you know, it's a life cycle, it's a life lesson, we live and learn. So yeah, that's it really in a nutshell. But moving forward, in terms of, a few people have been asking me, will there be a podcast in the future? There may well be, because obviously me and Carly are still very much into the idea of a podcast, so we may let the dust settle, and then we may take on a new venture together, and we may have guest people on. There's lots of ideas, but at the moment we're just letting the dust settle and never cross a witch. But for everybody that did invest in that and that did support our journey, thank you so much, because we generally did have so much fun and we did love doing it so much. So like I say, it's been a very difficult decision, but one that I felt was necessary. If I can't have Lucy as a personal friend, I don't want to continue a podcast with her, and that's what it came down to. And this was my protection, having to do what was right for my spirit. I might not be favoured for it, I might be witch hunted for it, but it's what I had to do. So I hope that clears that up. In other news, what's happening this week? So just to let you guys know, I've got a busy week. I've got lots of Zooms, so obviously I'll be doing those. I am catching up with voice recorded readings because obviously I was off grid, so bear with me, but I will get those done as soon as possible. And then on Wednesday, I'm over at Carpe Nocem doing a sold out evening of private one-to-one readings. So thank you very much if you've come to see me there. And Thursday, I'm over in Colour and Crystals doing a private evening of one-to-one readings. I'm not sure if there might be a couple of spaces left. Check in with Jo and she can let you know if there are, because I'm not sure if that's sold out or not. Halloween, I was going to be doing a live with Lucy. That's now not happening. So I'm going to just have Halloween to myself, which is what I would usually do. And I think that that's the universe saying, Mitch, just have Halloween as a sacred day for you, which is definitely what I'm going to do now. So apologies, I won't be alive, but I'll try and do a live in a couple of weeks when everything else is less stressful and everything. And then Saturday, I'm very excited. It's the last night of my official 2025 tour. So I'm going to be over at the Warehouse Theatre in Ilminster doing my final night of mediumship for this year on stage. I do have a couple of charity events obviously that I'm doing afterwards, but for the actual tour part of my journey for 2025, this is the last night. The Warehouse Theatre is always full of paranormal activity every single time. So come along, get involved. It's going to be pretty special. It's going to be pretty fabulous. There are still some tickets left. So if you want to come and see me, have some fun. The veil between the two worlds is still very thin because it's the day after Halloween, or Samhain, if you're pagan. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm buzzing for it. And it's just going to be a beautiful night. I might even wear my little bat trainers. I haven't decided yet, but I may wear them. So watch this space. But thank you so much for all the love. Thank you so much for the people that genuinely see me for me as a person, as well as my ability with spirit. And yeah, the message this week, protect your energy. Whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself protected, just don't tolerate any bullshit or any lower level energy, I think is the key message here. So have a beautiful one. Look after yourselves. Keep shining bright. And I'll catch up very soon. Take care. Bye for now.